A glance of these images shows a predominant predilection for the yellow. Why most of the images are painted yellow? This is a practice the world over today. Is it because the country of origin of the present virus, China, has a great fascination for the yellow? The Yellow River is the cradle of Chinese civilization. Yellow was the emperor's color in imperial China and is held as the symbolic color of the 5 legendary emperors of ancient China. Is that the reason for the present fascination after the yellow? Certainly not. Then, why yellow? Yellow is a color of exclusion or segregation in ancient Europe. The origin of the yellow flag has to be traced back to the Middle Ages, when the heretics had to wear yellow clothes, the yellow color being considered as a symbol of hellfire, of betrayal, of jealousy, and treachery. This was indeed a negative color. During the post-classical period, yellow became firmly established as the color of Judas Iscariot, the disciple who betrayed Jesus Christ, even though the Bible never describes his clothing. From this connection, yellow also took an association with envy, jealousy, and duplicity. In Christianity, the color also grew to represent outsiders of faith. During the Renaissance, Jewish people were marked with the color yellow. This was brought back in the times of Nazi Germany, when Jews were marked with a yellow star. Jews in Nazi Germany and German-occupied countries were required to sew yellow triangles with the Star of David onto their clothing. In the 16th century Spain, those accused of heresy and who refused to renounce their views were compelled to come before the Spanish Inquisition dressed in a yellow cape. From the technical point of view, visibility of the yellow could be a reason for it becoming prominent. Yellow is the most visible color from a distance, so it is often used for objects that need to be seen, such as fire engines, road maintenance equipment, school buses, and taxi cabs. It is also often used for warning signs, since yellow traditionally signals caution rather than danger. Safety yellow is often used for accident prevention information. A yellow light on a traffic signal means slow down but not stop. A yellow penalty card in a soccer match means warning but not expulsion. We do not know whether these technical considerations played any role in choosing yellow as a color of warning. However, the plague and other infectious diseases that ravaged in various ports of origin could be brought to a country by the ships that are going to berth in its waters. Documents of 1580 show that ships were required to carry what in Italian called Bandiera della Sanitario, which can be translated as a health flag. This ensures that pre-departure sanitation conditions are well in place. We do not know when the regulations came of wearing quarantine flag for a ship. What were the first colors used also is a matter of controversy. In Britain, the quarantine signals were introduced in the 18th century. Records show, as from 1st January 1789, every quarantine ship off the British coast should hoist a specific signal. The daily signal was a big yellow flag, whereas the night signal was a light placed on top of the main mast. The non-observance of the rule was fined £200. An English decree dated 1799 prescribes the size of the quarantine flag as 6 times the size of an ordinary flag. Subsequently, the yellow flag became standard quarantine flag in all vessels. Pratique is a license given to a ship to enter a port on assurance from the captain to convince the authorities that she is free from contagious disease. The clearance granted is commonly referred to as free pratique. A ship can signal a request for pratique by flying a solid yellow square-shaped flag. The widespread use of the yellow flags in ships resulted in the association of yellow with pandemics. There is an interesting Australian book named Flying the Yellow Flag, describing the voyage of the ship Glen Huntly carrying immigrants from Scotland to Australia with typhus-infected passengers, which resulted in the establishment of the first official quarantine centre in Victoria in 1851. Before we conclude, have you ever thought what quarantine means? The word quarantine comes from the Italian quarantigiorni, meaning 40 days. When a bubonic plague swept through Europe in the 14th century, the government of Venice required ships to anchor away from the city for 40 days before they could unload passengers or cargo. The authorities thought 40 days would be enough time for any disease to be identified and either treated or pass through its normal course. All ships under quarantine had to fly a yellow flag.